Hello and welcome to the Flix Forum podcast, where each episode we go back and we look at a Netflix original film in the order of release. Today we have Netflix 391st film from 2021. It's the coming-of-age sports drama, Skater Girl. It's directed by Manjari Makijany and stars Rachel Sanchita Gupta, Shafin Patel, Amrit Maghera, Jonathan Readwin and Waheeda Rehman. I am Jesse, I am your host. Thank you for joining me today for this almost, I'd say, international film. I know it's a co-production between, I think, India, the UK and America, but this is a very Indian-centric story. So if you're interested in checking this film out, give us a pause and come back a little bit later on, because we will spoil this show as we go. And we do kick off with the Fast Flicks, where we do a quick little summary of what the film is all about. So this one's about a girl who deals with societal pressures and finding a passion in skateboarding. It's a nice, simple little way of putting it. This is a very family-friendly film, very oriented towards younger teens, possibly in finding themselves in life. Around the world, so as I mentioned, it's called Skater Girl. So around the world, in Portuguese, it's called a radical skater, so not too bad. In French, it's called Like Clockwork. Not sure how that one works out. This had the working title of Desert Dolphin, which we will touch on in a second as we break into a little bit about how this one ended up on Netflix. It's quite a bit, which is quite good for an international film. So the idea for the film Skater Girl, it was inspired by the real-life skateboarding movement in India, which apparently has been growing rapidly in recent years, particularly in the rural areas which are depicted in the film. Manjari Makijany, who co-wrote the script with her sister Makijany, sought to tell a story that not only highlights the sport, but also addresses social issues such as gender inequality and the empowerment of young girls in conservative communities. The filmmakers undertook intensive research to ensure there was an authentic portrayal of the culture and social dynamics in rural India. This included them spending some time in villages, interacting with locals, and understanding the challenges faced by young girls in such environments. The casting process was particularly challenging, apparently. They had a focus on finding actors who could authentically represent the characters and the environment. Rachel Sanchita Gupta was cast as Prerna, which is the film's protagonist, and this marks her debut in a leading role in a film. The filmmakers also brought in real skateboarders from across India to add authenticity to the skateboarding scenes. Over 3,000 children were auditioned, many of them skaters from skate communities across India. Many of these people had never acted before, but were trained to perform in front of the camera, adding a layer of realism to the film. Kids from Kempur, which is the village where the film's set, were trained by professional skateboarders and were cast as secondary characters. The producers decided to film on real locations instead of recreating the skate park as a set. As the central set of the film, the producers actually built, this is the area, Rajasthan's first and India's largest skate park in this town of Kempur. A significant part of the pre-production involved designing and constructing the skate park, which plays a big role in the film. It was built, where the area where it was built is also where the film The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel filmed as well. And this area served as the primary location where they brought together a crew from the US, Canada, and India. Filming took place further in Kempur and other locations in Rajasthan, capturing the vibrant yet harsh rural landscape that forms the backdrop of Prerna's journey. The production team worked closely with local communities, often involving them in the filming process, which added further authenticity. The production employed approximately 500 cast and crew, including over 350 of the local villagers. The filmmakers spent over a year researching, writing, and meeting with teenage girls and boys to write the characters as authentically as possible. 55 skaters from across India featured in the movie, including 34 local skaters from Kempur. Production on the film wrapped in early 2020, and post-production was actually completed in Los Angeles at the Warner Brothers facilities. Netflix announced on the 7th of August 2020 that they had acquired the global rights to Desert Dolphin at the time, a coming-of-age story, which obviously changed to Skater Girl. The skate park that they built, it's situated on a 1-acre area, 14,500 square foot area, and it was built with a team from a place called 100 Ramps with lots of international volunteers as well, and it was done over 45 days. For the skateboarding, they did some workshops through October 2018, and once the filming had completed, the skate park actually remains as a free public use skate park, with the aim of continuing the social impact skate parks can have on rural Indian villages. Hundreds of children in and around the area have been positively impacted by this introduction of skateboarding and the park, and many children attend free training workshops there as well. Following the release of the film's trailer, some famous skateboarders from India, Ulrich Reinhard and Asha Gond, accused the filmmakers of stealing their own personal story of their rise as India's top skateboarders. According to the director Manjari Makijany, while Gond, along with hundreds of female skaters across India, were interviewed for the film, she denied that the movie was about Gond, and she said, "The film is not a biopic based on anyone's life story, nor is it a documentary. It's not Gond or Reinhard's story." So blatantly come out and said that this is a collaboration of many different stories. This did hit Netflix worldwide on the 11th of June 2021, and it did win 2 awards and had 2 further nominations for the songs in the film, as well as for Rachel Sanchita Gupta for her debut as an actress. What are the critics and audiences saying about this film? On Rotten Tomatoes, this sits at 88%. That is on 17 reviews, so not certified, but definitely fresh. The audience is right up there too. Sits at 85%. That's on more than 50 ratings. IMDb, it's got about 6,500 ratings, and it sits at a solid 6.7 out of 10. And Letterboxd as well sits above that number 3, that golden 3, I guess, sits at a 3.1 out of 5 on 5,500 ratings, and has been logged by a bit over 8,000 people. So overall, the consensus for this film is extremely positive. What are my early thoughts? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just not very good. It's predictable, it's unbelievable at times, it's very clunky, and I guess it's not that often that I don't agree with some of the critical consensus, but for me, personally, this one, it just didn't work. So I'm going to give a little bit of an alternative take on this film compared to what a lot of other people are saying. We talk about the characters now. Let's talk about some of the characters. I'm only going to talk about a few. There are lots of side characters throughout this film, but this film is about Prerna. This is her story. She's the skater girl, and this is a young girl who wants to belong, but struggles to juggle life even at such a young age. Her name in the film, it's blatantly said it means inspiration, hint, hint, so she's meant to be the inspiration. But she wants to be at school, but has to take on the responsibility to help out at home with these family obligations and trying to put food on the table. Her father is a proud man and he follows tradition and makes her life hard for her is how I'd put it. And her mother's in this tricky situation where she has to stand by her husband, but also deep down it's pretty clear that she wants to see her daughter succeed in almost anything that she does or what she enjoys as well. Prerna has this interest in a boy at school who is the son of the principal at the school. She's never at school anyway, so doesn't get much time to bond with him, but he's from a different caste to her, so she shouldn't be communicating with him. So that's another social issue that she has to face while also coming into, I guess, this passion of skateboarding and the way that the town and the school and the family all look down at this as something that a girl shouldn't be doing is another thing that she has to face. The opposite of her, I guess, is Ankush, her younger little brother, and he doesn't seem to have any pressure from the family at all. He seems to be allowed to do whatever he wants to do. He's allowed to go to school to better himself. He can steal, he can pray for materialistic things like new shoes and do whatever he likes and never really face any consequences, unlike his sister Prerna. And maybe this is to show the complete opposite of his youthfulness, but it did seem a little bit unfair that he was able to just be free as a kid, whereas she had so much responsibility. The Westerners who come in and help out in this film. Jessica is this half Indian woman. She's come from London to follow her own culture and heritage. Her father's from India. She sort of comes waltzing into town and ends up rattling the status quo of the town by almost supporting this introduction of skateboarding. And she's an artist. She's a graphic designer. She uses these skills to help design this skate park. And this film, it's almost like they have 2 films in one. Yes, it's called Skater Girl, but this is a little bit about Jessica's journey as well, even if the actual background behind her being there is like a one-line piece of dialogue that doesn't actually get developed as well. And the other Westerner is Eric. This is a guy who works out through social media that Jessica's in India, so he crashes town to come and see her. he comes with his skateboard, which is the inspiration for the kids. They're all in shock and awe at this guy on a skateboard. And it seems like there's some sort of romantic connection between him and Jessica, but it's never really a part of the story, and it doesn't need to be either. And his backstory, which is through one line of dialogue as well, is that skating saved his life because it gave him a reason to get out of the house and away from his stepdad, so he thanks his mother for that. But other than that, these two are almost white saviors is where I'd put it. The director, Manjari Makijany, based in between Sydney and LA, so it has a bit of an Australian connection there. This is her first feature film, has 4 shorts before this and a TV movie called Spin, which came out in 2021, but big credits as a second assistant director on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, The Dark Knight Rises, and also worked as a production assistant on Wonder Woman and the Christopher Nolan Dunkirk film as well. So obviously making rounds around Hollywood, and people are enjoying what she's doing. Let's talk about some scenes. What are some scenes that stood out? What are some things that didn't work? So some things that worked for me. I think there's a moment where Prerna mentions to her mother that Jessica, this foreigner, she's rocked up, she's strange because she sprays perfume on her hands. I had a little bit of a chuckle. It's obviously hand sanitizer that she's using. I'm a chronic user of hand sanitizer, so I thought that was a little bit humorous and quite funny. There's a moment where Prerna Eric lends her skateboard and she ruins it. She drops it in the water, so she ends up stealing money from her dad to pay him back, but Eric doesn't take this money, so she goes back home to hide the money before her dad finds it, but he finds her, he hits her, which isn't good, but then she's in bed with her brother Ankush later, and she's upset, and he's like, why did you put the money back? We could have got chocolates. I thought that was a cute little line. It shows his innocence and the small little things that people can get enjoyment from in life as well. There's a moment where we're in the classroom at school and Kush is there with his friends. Prerna's not there because obviously she's helping out around the house, but they're learning about Gandhi through their textbook and protests, and this is after everyone's banned skateboards in town. So the kids all go out picketing the town, protesting this idea that they should be allowed to skate. I thought that was cute. And there's this rich old lady, I can't even remember her name, but she offers financial support through the land to build this skate park, and Jessica goes for her to help, and she does this little speech to Jessica about resisting, or people in India resisting change led by women, and she says if she denies Jessica the opportunity to build this skate park, life will go on, but if she says yes, she'll see a better tomorrow and see girls chasing dreams. I thought that was a sweet little moment as well. Things that didn't work in this one for me, a couple of things. So Jessica, text messages, notifications from social media, in text, on the screen, I just hate it. So lazy. I've said this every time I see it in a film. Don't like it. There's a moment where Jessica tells Eric her story as to why she came to India, her father, and he asks if she's ever told anyone this story, and she's like, no. In relation to the people in India, she's like, I don't want to disrupt anything. I was just sitting there going, please, you just gave all these kids skateboards. And then later on, she says, I'm an outsider. Maybe I should stop interfering. And something like this, which was Prerna injured herself while skateboarding, was bound to happen. No, like just some of the lines and dialogue, just not good. There's a moment where Eric says, there's all this criticism from the police officers about the kids skateboarding, and Eric says, it doesn't matter where you go in the world, everyone hates skateboards. Please, is this the 1990s? Like, I was laughable, that line. Prerna's dad has a go at her for going on this date with the boy from the different cast, the principal's son, and then he burns her skateboard, and she just breaks into tears and runs away. Like, she was solid throughout the film, but the crying and the emotion here was a little bit off key. And the same with her farewell to Jessica, where she goes to tell Jessica that she's getting married, and Jessica asks her, are you sure? Come on, please, is it for real? And then it's like she has a choice or something. She has no choice, and there's more bad crying. I thought that was a little bit frustrating. And then Prerna, like, she's about to get married, and she escapes through the roof of the house, which was comical, almost as much as then her racing to the skate park to make this competition, and she's picked up by this rich lady in her Mercedes-Benz. And then the mum and the dad just rock up and stand there and watch her do her skateboarding and don't make a big deal about her running off on her wedding. It was just all this too quickly put together ending that didn't work. And then finally Prerna having her go in this skateboarding sort of competition. And the big deal about the film throughout has been challenges and the idea of failure and not wanting to fall off the skateboard. And this big idea about this big dramatic moment about her doing a drop into the skate park that she's failed at this whole film. And it's literally like, if she can't do this thing, this drop-in, she can't do anything else skate-wise, because that's how you need to start. And it was just so lame. I thought that was really poor. Anyway, themes, ideas. What's the film trying to say? It's trying to say a lot. And the messages in this film are quite nice. Good for younger people, I would say. So the idea of belonging and finding yourself and understanding who you are, especially through the lens of kids. Kids just want to have fun at times. That caste/class system of India is highlighted here again, that indoctrination of the male running and supporting the home and arranged marriages to better families, and this is how their system works. The idea of change and the older generations not accepting what the youth enjoy, and they ban it. So how do we break this tradition and resistance and support change and possibility and opportunities, especially through skateboarding in this film? There's a big message here through girl power too, the female empowerment in this film, that girls can do anything that boys can too, and sometimes the pressures that girls feel in Indian society too. Education is super important as well. Even the idea in school that, I think this was visually done, that the upper class kids were the ones that were allowed to use the computer. So how do we create a fair and equal education system? And taking chances plays a big part too. Failing but continuing to try, get back up and giving it another go. What did I take away from this film? I think this is an interesting, I sort of touched on this a little bit before, but the film could have gone down this almost whole white savior path of Jessica, and they made her have cultural roots in India, which helped, but it still felt like this big example of outsiders coming in and bettering a society for what they see is right, without actually taking into consideration the local community they're in. So that felt a little bit off for me as well. IMDb, we have a section where we jump onto IMDb sometimes to check a cast member out or someone that we may have recognised. I didn't jump on to check a cast member out, but Ankush kept calling Prerna, his sister, kept calling her Didi. And I'm sure I'd heard this at some stage before, and I assumed that it meant sister, but I wanted to look it up to confirm. So Didi in Hindi, it actually means older sister. So I thought that was a nice little touch to show the relationship between brother and sister throughout the film as well. Some questions, some pondering, some thoughts, some ideas from this film. There's Prerna, she finds a goat and takes it home and makes it her best friend. I'm not sure why they needed to add this into the film. It didn't add anything. Jessica was just around the corner and they were going to build this connection anyway. So the idea that she needed a goat for a best friend, didn't really like that. The fact that the film, they happen to organise Prerna's wedding 7 days from the date that she meets this guy, and it's on exactly the same date as this big skateboarding competition. It was a little bit laughable, as was the idea that this whole big wedding party is there to see her get married, and there's so many people there, and her little brother is off at the skating competition. Like, as if the dad would allow this. And then he competes in this skating competition, then he says, oh, cool, I better make sure that the audience knows I've got to run off to this wedding. Like, seriously, you see what the dad's like, as if he would have allowed this at all. I just thought that was really lame. And as the credits rolled, this is interesting, the camera sort of droned out of the actual skate park and of the locals using it. There's this little house that was like sitting right next to the skate park. And this is a real rural skate park. It's out in the middle of nowhere. I was just thinking, who's the poor person that lives in this house? Or if that house was already there and then they've built the skate park next to the house, man, the noise and the traffic that would be around there, that would not car traffic, but people traffic, that would be frustrating. But anyway, just some thoughts. Let's wrap this up. We give the film a rating out of 5 on this show. For me, I'm not sure if it's because by doing this podcast and this show that I may have seen a few more Indian Hindi type films than your average film reviewer, but to me this was nothing new. It's a sweet story, yes, it's family friendly, it's got good morals, but the themes and the ideas are things that almost seem to be done in every single Indian film. This film doesn't add anything new, and it shows that society still needs to do a lot in India, and that's what sticks out for me from this film. And the dialogue at times in this film, it was woeful, and it might be an easy feel-good watch for some, which is great, but for me, it just sits there as that well-made, but it's not good. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5 for me. We're on socials. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, and we have X, formerly known as Twitter. The question that I wanted to put on socials for this episode is the question as to why has skateboarding been seen as rebellious for so long? Why is it an icon of being a rebel? Is this something that we should blame Bart Simpson for in his skateboarding? I think through the 90s, possibly that was a big thing. Bart was rebellious, pulls his pants down, WAG school, those sorts of things. So maybe that's a part of where we're at as a culture as well. But if you've got any other suggestions, let me know. Other than that, we are back next week. Next week, we have another international film from 2021. It's the Indonesian comedy drama called Ali and Ratu Ratu Queens. This one's directed by Lucky Kuswandi and stars Iqbal Ramadan, Aurora Ribeiro, and Nurna Zupia. I'm excited, I guess. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but if you've seen that film or you're interested in checking it out, I've got no idea what it's about. Give it a watch. Join me next week as we cover that. As always, thank you for joining me today for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed the chat.